You're listening to Beyond Wellness Radio, bringing you the cutting edge in health, biohacking, and sports performance. Stay up to date and listen anywhere and anytime on your computer, tablet, or smartphone by subscribing on iTunes. Catch your host, Dr. Justin Marcagiani, as he answers your burning health questions as well as interviews from world-renowned guest experts. For more Beyond Wellness Radio, go to beyondwellnessradio.com.
Hey there, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani. Welcome to Beyond Wellness Radio. Feel free and head over to beyondwellnessradio.com where you can access our full podcast transcriptions. While you're there, you can also sign up for our thyroid and female hormone video series. This series goes into the root cause of why your hormones are out of balance. While you're there, you can also schedule a functional medicine consult with Dr. Justin, myself, where we'll dig deeper into the root cause of your health challenges. Feel free and think of sharing this podcast with at least one person. This podcast grows by people sharing it. Sharing is caring. If you can think of one person that can benefit from this information, please feel free and share it. If you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you subscribe on iTunes. You can also click below the video or podcast where you'll see the iTunes review button and leave us a review. You can also sign up for the newsletter at beyondwellnessradio.com where you'll get updates before anyone else. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. And we are live. It's Dr. J here in the house with Evan Brand. Today we're going to be chatting about fingernails. What do your finger and toenails mean? Evan, what's cooking, man? How we doing?
Hey, not too much. I got great feedback from a lot of our clients on the hair loss episode. People said, wow, I didn't know the connection between the gut and the hair. Like, how could me having parasites in my gut affect my hair? And of course, we outlined that in the podcast. So if you didn't hear that yet, go check out the hair loss functional medicine episode. But today, it's all about nails because you can look at your nails easily. It's a free test. Everyone loves free testing. So you can look down at your nails and say, oh my God, I've got this or that on my fingernails or toenails, and then that can help us, give us enough clues to dig deeper. I'm not going to say, based on this fingernail, here's your protocol, but it's a good free way to investigate some major underlying issues.
100%. The nails give you a really good insight into how your digestion is doing because you need to use proteins and fats and collagen-based amino acids to build those nails up. Also, certain minerals like zinc are really important for the nails as well. So you get a really good window into, one, are you digesting protein? Are you assimilating protein? Are you digesting minerals and fats as well? Do you have enough hydrochloric acid and enzymes? So it gives you a really good window into how you're breaking down proteins, fats, ionizing minerals. Of course, you can use HCl and enzymes and digestive support, engage that, increase that, and see how much that moves the needle. Of course, there could be other hidden stressors like cortisol, which could be more catabolic and breaking tissue down. Also, things like infections could also be a big driving factor as well.
Yep. So let's go into like the most common things that you would see or hear of with complaints regarding nails. I would say the biggest one is going to be toe fungus under the nail bed, where it's going to be a yellow or just a fungal infected toenail. Would you say 100 out of 100 times that means there's likely going to be a fungal infection in the gut as well, some type of a systemic candida, or maybe we've got geotrichum that we look at, we've got microsporum and other types of funguses. Are you going to say, hey, look, if it's on the toenail, it's definitely in the gut as well? What do you think?
Yeah, if it's on the toenail, there's definitely implications that it could be in the gut. The problem is you can address the gut, and a lot of times that's not going to be enough to address the toenail as well. Just because the time you put herbs into the gut or whatever, time it gets into the bloodstream, makes its way all the way down to your toe, unless it's a very minor fungal infection, most of the time you're going to need to hit it topically because your immune system and all these antifungals takes a long time to get to the outer periphery of where these fungus is located. So it's tough. So in general, yes, we should address the gut, and then we should also address it topically on the nail. So we got to hit it from both ends, inside and outside, kind of put that fungus between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, well, let's point this out too. Let's just say you go to your foot doctor, right? You go to your podiatrist and you say, hey, I've got a fungal infection on my toe. They're going to end up giving you Lamisil or some other type of a prescription or over-the-counter antifungal. But to me, I think that's a short-sighted approach because that toenail is not having that infection for no reason. There's got to be something underlying. So would you agree that the goal is not just treat the toenail? Because aren't you missing something else probably?
Yeah, if it's really bad, you definitely want to be addressing your diet, because a lot of the fungus or yeast, which is primarily that yellow discolored nail, is going to be fungus in that area. You got to stop what's feeding it. So, of course, you want to look at the diet and stop feeding it all the refined carbohydrates. That's number one. Number two, you want to address the gut issues to begin with. The candida, which is a kind of yeast or fungus, whether it's microsporidia or rhodotorula, you want to address and knock down some of these yeast. And then more than likely, we're going to topically hit it as well. Now, some of the Lamisil or the other medications that are antifungals, very hard on the liver. So if you're going to go that way, definitely take some herbs like milk thistle and take some extra glutathione to help support and tonify the liver if you're going to go that way. Now, topically, we can use things like melaleuca or tea tree and or oil of oregano and topically rub it on the nail. That's number one. Number two, we can also do a fungal soak as well. And the fungal soaks work phenomenal. So there's a couple. I have one that's an herbal concoction. Then you mix it with apple cider vinegar. That works amazing. That's my herbal nail fungus soak. That works phenomenal. You can also do that and then topically rub something on after the soak. So you soak your feet for 5 or 10 minutes. It's mixed with apple cider vinegar. And then you can rub something on the nail once a day. That's phenomenal as well. Number two, some people, they'll just do the topical nail as well. I like doing the whole foot. That way, if there's any fungus between the toes or in the heel or wherever in the skin, you kind of get all of it versus just some of it. So nail fungal soak with also topically hitting the nail as well.
Yeah, that's good advice. And then the diet piece, I mean, I can't say 100% that if you magically get rid of sugar and fructose, that your nails are going to look better. But to me, anything that we can do to reduce that process of aging, the advanced glycation enzyme process, to me, reducing that AGE is going to be one of the critical steps to this.
Yep, exactly. The less stress in your body, the better. I mean, nail fungus is really unique because once you fix a lot of the root cause stuff, that may not go away. So you got to really topically hit it as well. So I see that as number one. Now, there's other things, too, when we look at the nails. Anything else you want to say about the fungal nail before we move on?
No, that's it. Let's move on.
And we'll put a link to my herbal nail fungus soak in the description. If anything that Evan likes as well, he'll put it in the description as well. I like that. All right. Another cream I use is called Wonder Balm. That's another really good antifungal cream, too. So I like that as well.
What's in that?
It's got about 10 different herbs. Oil of oregano,
cool.
tea tree. So a lot of those same herbs I just talked about. Peppermints. Excellent
I like
things.
it.
Yeah, I like it too. So let's go talk about the next thing. So what about like brittle nails, right? If we see brittle or cracked nails, of course, we're always thinking about the fat-soluble vitamins, right? Remember fats and fat-soluble vitamins. So fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K, okay? Biotin, which is a type of B vitamin, is also really important. Proteins, so all your amino acids. So the same kind of thing. We want to make sure we're eating a whole food, nutrient-dense diet. We want to make sure we have enough acid and enzymes so we can break down the fats, the saturated fats, the omega-3s, as well as the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, K. We want to make sure we're eating foods that contain really good nutrient-rich vitamins. So your meats and your vegetables are going to have lots of B vitamins. We may want to also supplementally add in things like biotin. We can do things like silica or extra collagen. These are extra ways to provide good building blocks for the nails as well.
You know what's interesting is a lot of people that come to us with Lyme disease or co-infections, just gut infections, but also tick-borne viral type infections, they often complain about their hair, their skin, their nails because, for example, mycoplasma, it just is a scavenger for amino acids. And we know that amino acids, of course, are important for making your muscle tissue. So a lot of these people are depleted. They've gained body fat and lost muscle tissue, but then they often have issues with their hair, their nails, and their skin. So there are like some hair, skin, nail complex that we use where it'll have like the silica, as you mentioned, biotin, horsetail, etc. But you got to figure out, do you have some type of a viral load as well, or do you have some type of a tick-borne issue? Because if you look at Stephen Buhner, he's got a lot of really good books on Lyme and these co-infections. He'll tell people that supplementing collagen and supplementing amino acid complexes are critical because you're just getting robbed. So until you get the upper hand on those infections, it's almost like no matter how much hair, skin, nail supplements you take, you're not gonna fix it until you get the bad guys suppressed enough, like the Lyme, the Babesia, Bartonella, whatever else is robbing you, Mycoplasma, for example.
Yeah, I deal with all the big gut infections first. A lot of the herbs that we may use for the gut bugs may also knock down a lot of the co-infections too. So unless you have a strong symptomatology or you have testing that says to go after those things too, typically focus on the big gut bugs first. And if you're doing a good protocol, there'll be a lot of herbs that kind of will also help knock down those co-infections. And then typically after that, if we see some things, we can do specific herbal formulas that will go after those co-infections too.
Yep, well said. So that could be a secondary issue.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a webinar a few weeks ago. It was a guy, I don't remember his name. He was a chiropractic doc, functional medicine guy who was talking about, this was a webinar on Lyme and mold. And he said that, just since I brought up Lyme and co-infections, that he doesn't actually work on treating Lyme and co-infections until the mold's taken care of, because it's such a strong immune suppressant that if you do a perfect Lyme disease protocol, but if you still got mycotoxins in your body, that you can't fully mount an immune response against it. So that was pretty interesting for me because, you know, I'd been using some Bartonella herbs, but I'm still focusing on mold as number one. Now, I haven't had any real issues with my nails. They look okay. I would say they're still kind of weak, though. I tried, my daughter, she thought it was funny to try to lock me out of her bedroom the other day, so I tried to use my fingernail and twist a little thing in the door handle to unlock the door, and I was like, oh, my fingernail was still kind of weak, so maybe I need some extra nail support here.
Yeah, exactly. So I have the same perspective where I'm going to be focused on all the gut stuff first, digestion first, making sure the hormones are good and stabilized because we can mount a good stress response. We can have decent energy, go after the gut issues because that's where 80% of your immune system is. And yeah, if we see a history of mold, we'll definitely give some gentle detox support and binders for that. And then we'll go after more of these other stealthy infections on the backside. I mean, there's always like tonifying herbs you can do, like medicinal mushrooms, which will be helpful. Things like cemento or cat's claw, which can be really good immune supportive things, or astragalus. So I'm always okay with some of these kind of supportive, I call them like immune adaptogens, because they will help your body deal with any of these stealthy co-infections too.
Ooh, I like the sound of that, immune adaptogen. Okay, let's chat about vertical ridges. This is one that we talked about literally probably 5 years ago when I had H. pylori. I noticed that my vertical ridges on my nails, on my fingernails specifically, were super pronounced. Like you could feel the ridging, almost like running across a little bit of a mountainside or something, just really hilly. I still have vertical ridges, and if you look into the research on this, some people say, oh, vertical ridges are normal, etc., but then in some cases there could be nutrient deficiencies. And in my case, it was a B as in Bravo, B12 deficiency. I'm sure I was deficient in magnesium and other minerals, but I've noticed the nail ridges have definitely become softer. So when people hear that, the vertical ridges, I mean, I can't tell you how many people have mentioned, oh my God, that was the clue something was off. So not 100% indicator, but I think it is helpful.
Yeah, so in general with the ridging, you know, you want to make sure you can't feel it. So you may see a tiny bit of ridging, but like just kind of run your finger across the arch of your nail and see how it feels. If it feels relatively smooth, that's okay. I'm okay with some of that. Also, you could always try to, you know, as you get it fixed over time, it takes a long time for the nail to, for the integrity to change. So you could always polish it up as you fix it. That kind of gets rid of it faster. But then over time, if the proteins and good fats are coming back in, then hopefully it won't come back. You know, that's kind of the goal. But in general, with that, you really just want to make sure you don't feel it per se. If you see a little bit, not as big of a deal versus if you feel it.
I mean, mine were insane. I mean, it was like, it was like driving across one of those, you know, those little things on the side of the highway. If you run off the highway, that was like my fingernails, except it wasn't in, it was sticking up.
How much better is it now?
Oh, I would say it's at least 75% better. You can still see it, but it's almost.
But can you feel it? Can you feel it though?
Barely.
Okay, good.
It's much, much smoother than it used to be.
Good.
And I've run, I don't know, 5 or 6 stool tests in the last 5 years, and so I've seen the progression of my gut barrier getting better. I've seen the progression of eliminating layers and layers of infections. So to me, I'm on the healing path, but I still think the nail itself is a little weak. Like, I don't know, maybe that's your average person, but if I try to really crank on that nail, like I said, I was trying to unlock that door. Summer, she thought she was in there laughing. Ha ha ha. She had that door locked. I'm like, open the door. And I tried to, turn that little, I'm talking about, the little slit in the door handle where it locks.
Yep.
There's normally like a special key for it.
Yep.
I thought my nail should have been strong enough to crank that thing, but it wasn't.
No, I hear you, man. That makes sense. We also have white spots. So white spots could be just you banging your fingernail against something. It's possible. It also could be zinc deficiency too, if we just see a whole bunch of white spots. So it's something we keep an eye on. Again, we don't do anything different because that's not going to change it itself, because we're already making the diet better. We're already adding supplemental zinc. We're already adding HCl and enzymes. So we just kind of keep an eye on that and see if some of these things change over time.
The spooning, I think the spoon nailing is important to mention, because this is often related to some type of an iron issue. It could be something bigger, could be thyroid, but I've heard of people that the nail is, I guess that's why they call it spooning, but the nail kind of curves up at the tip, like you could almost ride a skateboard ramp off of the nail. And then I'll usually just run a basic blood panel just to look at thyroid and different, like ferritin, iron saturation. A lot of times you'll see stuff off. Now, as you mentioned, this stuff doesn't get fixed overnight. So I can't say directly, yes, we saw this woman had low ferritin, so we gave her something to boost ferritin, and then the spooning went away. This is literally something you have to track with your clients and patients over like a 2 to 3 year period to really make it better.
Yeah, exactly. So with the spooning stuff, right, if we see low iron, that's going to be like a number one. So a vegan, vegetarian, we see a woman that may be having excessive menstruation, right, bleeding more than 3 or 4 days, 3 to 4 tampons per day. Low iron, we'll be testing ferritin, we'll be testing iron saturation, we'll be testing TIBC, UIBC, iron serum, and if we see some of these nutrients low, maybe even B vitamins low, maybe we have a intrinsic factor pernicious anemia happening, and we can't absorb B12 because you need intrinsic factor to absorb B12, even if you're consuming it. We may want to look at more higher quality supplemental B12 that's sublingual and methylated. Obviously, we may also want to add extra iron or liver glandular in there. We may want to look at fixing the underlying issue, because that low iron could be caused from estrogen dominance that's causing excessive bleeding. So a lot of times this could be easily from hormones too.
Wow. Okay, so let's say that again, because that's a pretty profound thing. So you said iron deficiency due to estrogen dominance, and the estrogen dominance you're saying is going to be linked to excessive bleeding.
Yeah, excessive bleeding. So if we see more than 4 days, 5 days of bleeding, but more importantly, greater than 4 or so tampons per day, that could be a sign that we're bleeding too much and we're losing a lot of blood that way. Again, men don't have that problem, but, on the hemochromatosis side, there could be the excess iron, but I'm more worried about the low iron, because that's going to be, in my opinion, a really big deal breaker, because you're going to be really fatigued. You won't be able to carry oxygen, and your mitochondria will be really, really stressed.
Yeah, so if you go up a flight of stairs and you're just winded, you're like, and it's not just you out of breath. It seems like you're not getting enough oxygen. It could be related to that anemia issue, and you want to investigate.
Exactly. Paler skin, too, is another big sign as well. Lower energy.
I remember there being something about your hands where you take the palm of your hand, you kind of bend your fingers back. Aren't the lines in your hand, they're supposed to go more red to where you could see the blood flow? Versus
they'll go more red, which is a sign of just better circulation. So if you take your hand like this and you see the lines here, see how they get redder?
But if you're anemic, I'm guessing you may not get as much red color in the lines.
Yeah, because the heme portion of the hemoglobin has that kind of redder, more pinky tone to it. So when that hemoglobin is low, that pinky tone's less, so you have that more of that pale kind of outlook. So you won't have that, that the rosy, if your skin's more fair or white skin, you won't have that like rosiness to it. It just kind of stays pale.
Yeah, once again, so that's more of like a, hey, here's a free at-home test. You bend your fingers back, look at the lines in the palm of your hand, and if they don't go red, maybe it's related. Do a blood panel and figure it out.
Yep, exactly. So let's go talk about some other nails here. So we have a couple other nails I wanted to talk about. Of course, we have clubbing as well. So when we see clubbing, it looks like a little hoof at the end where you see a little curvature at the end of the nail. And a lot of times that's from oxygen deficiency. So that could be from extreme low iron. That could be from a lot of respiratory distress, whether it's like sleep apnea or some kind of like just COPD. Just you're not able to really take on oxygen appropriately, and then that low oxygen level can really cause that clubbing effect. So you could see it with lung issues, you could see it with kidney issues, liver issues, heart issues, dietary, IBS issue, immuno issues, like AIDS, things like that. But a lot of times there's some inability to transfer and carry oxygen appropriately in the body.
Makes sense.
So you're looking at bigger picture pathology. People that have that level of clubbing, they're already going to be on the conventional medicine's radar as some kind of a diagnosis already being there. So you work on stabilizing that, but then you want to get to the root issue, especially if you have you can see clubbing with some autoimmune issues too. And autoimmunity, obviously, lots of inflammation in the body. So you stabilize with the conventional medical docs, and then you work on getting to the root cause after.
Yeah, I would say autoimmunity could be linked to any of these, wouldn't you? I mean, because think about if you've got autoimmunity that, let's say you've got Hashimoto's and now your thyroid's slowing down. We know that hypothyroidism could cause some of these nail issues as well. So, so I would just say if you got messed up nails and you're autoimmune, you could blame it as that being a piece of the puzzle. Yeah,
and also pitting nails too. We'll see that's associated with psoriasis, which is autoimmunity. Also Reiter's syndrome as well. So a lot of pitting nails, which these conditions have an effect on connective tissue, we look at autoimmunity as well. So anytime we see pitting nails or even just the clubbing nails or any type of nail issue, autoimmunity is so big because the gut interplays. And once you start messing up iron and fat-soluble vitamins and good fat digestion and protein digestion and B vitamin absorption, especially B12, you could see a lot of these physical presentations with the nails. It's totally possible.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Next, we have, I would say, you have the horizontal nails as well. That could easily be from scarlet fever. We learned that one in school. And, of course, scarlet fever, I think it's a staph infection, and that can easily affect the heart, too, and create heart valve problems as well. These are horizontal lines or Bowes lines. That can also be due to psoriasis as well, or any type of circulation issue, because scarlet fever can easily affect the lungs and potentially the heart. So that's always a possibility. Any comments?
I don't know much about scarlet fever, so no, I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay, excellent. Anything else you want to talk about after that?
The easy one, that some people forget that they did something to their nail, like if you smash your fingers in a door, or like you shut the car, the kid shuts the car on your nail, and sometimes people forget. They'll say, oh my God, I've got this black spot under my nail. Bob Marley died of melanoma under his big toenail. He had a dark spot under his big toenail, and
really?
He said, well, yeah, and he said, well, the Rastafarian mindset is you don't amputate any of your parts, because they wanted to cut off his big toe to get rid of the melanoma. And he's like, nope, I didn't want to do it. And then unfortunately the melanoma killed him. So yes, a dark spot under the nail could be a possible skin cancer. It's rare, but it's possible. So in some cases, a dermatologist may want to look at dark spots under the nails, but a lot of times it's, I banged my hand to get something and I forgot, and now I've got a little bit of some blood under there.
And just poor digestion, not digesting and absorbing a lot of these good fat-soluble vitamins, fats, and proteins can be a big one, and vitamins and minerals too. We have Terry's nails as well. So Bowes nails are going to be the horizontal lines, kind of more midline. Terry's nails are going to be the white strip at the very top. And that's also going to be a horizontal line as well at the very, very top. So you'll see kind of a big white strip at the very, very top. And that one, some of these ones can mean, more significant issues. I mean, they can mean different types of potential liver issues, kidney issues, diabetes. So the more unhealthy you get, the more your nails just really go to hell in a handbasket, so to speak. You have the Terry nails. Think of in school, we learned Terry nails, T for tip. And then Bowes, closer to the base, B for base, kind of Terry's horizontal here, Bowes more in the middle, closer to the base. And then autoimmunity plays a big role. And then more of your bigger issues like kidney, liver, cardiovascular issues, COPD. We can start to see more clubbing issues. And then, of course, psoriasis is connected to, a lot of these different ones in general.
Let's just briefly mention cuticle health too. Cuticle health, I would say, is correlated with the nails. My cuticles, back when I had a lot of gut issues, my cuticles were always red and puffy and inflamed. And I don't know if it was directly correlated. All I can tell you is that my cuticles look much better now. So I think if cuticles are irritated, maybe it's because you're picking on your nails. Maybe it's the way you're biting your nails. If you're a biter, it could be something like that. But to me, I think cuticles are correlated somehow.
Yeah, I think it's good every now and then to go get your nails done and just have those cuticles really opened up. I like it when they go down there.
Talking about how the cuticle grows up over the nail. Talking about those getting pushed back.
Yep, get them pushed back and trimmed out. I like that. I'll do that maybe once a year or twice a year. I'll get my nails kind of trimmed up, just get them cleaned up with those cuticles. I think that's nice. Anything else you want to say?
Well, there you go, women. You have the official go-ahead from Dr. J. Go get your nails done. Now you can tell your husband, hey, Dr. J told me to.
Yeah, just be careful. They use a lot of chemicals, and then also just make sure that everything's kind of coming from like a sterilized type of enclave, or I forget what it's called. Not an enclave, but it's anyway, it's a type of sterilization unit. It's a type of sterilization unit that they basically sterilize those tools.
Maybe there's some crunchy, organic type nail salon out there, but God, most nail salons, I can't go anywhere close to them. I've actually had quite a few, I don't even know what you would call them, like a nail technician, I guess, nail salon workers that have been clients, and you should see the amount of xylene. So xylene's often used in nail polish. Oh my goodness. I'm talking record levels of xylene, which is super neurotoxic. So
and it depends too. People going in, just take some extra activated charcoal and some extra glutathione if your health is okay. If you're really getting spun out afterwards, then just do your best to limit exposure. But I just go and get mine, get the base and get those cuticles trimmed up. Someone wrote in about the moons underneath the nails. That's a good sign of circulation, but a lot of times the cuticle will grow up over that moon, so you may not be able to see it. Most people can see it in their thumbs, but they may not see it in other nails. Like you can't really see mine that well, but once someone kind of goes down and gets that cuticle out, you can see it a lot more. Sometimes that cuticle covers it.
Yeah. Were there any other questions? I didn't have those pulled up in front of me.
Someone wrote, can nail fungus be acquired from outside sources? Yeah, it totally can be, and that's why you really want to topically hit it. That's why it may not always necessarily be a gut issue. So easiest first thing is just do a good fungal soak with your nails and topically hit it as well. Usually it's going to take about 3 to 6 months for a fungal nail to grow out. So I had a fungal big toe issue, and it was very light. It wasn't even yellow. It was just a kind of like the nail, you could just see the integrity was lost a little bit, where all the other nails were fine. And I thought it was a mild fungus. Topically hit it. After a month, you saw the bottom part grow out nice and clean. And then it took about 3 to 4 months to grow out the big toe.
I'm surprised it happened that quick. That seems pretty fast.
Yeah, so anywhere between 3 to 6 months. I mean, it depends, like your pinky nail is going to grow out that nail much faster than your thumb. So it's all going to depend how much real estate has to move.
Yeah.
But still, you provide extra building blocks so it grows faster. And then number two, you topically hit it along the way so it doesn't reinfect the new tissue coming out. Mm-hmm. That's why sometimes the soak's better, because the soak sometimes can really penetrate things deeper, which is nice.
I haven't needed to use it, but I have recommended a few people to use that after you told me about it, and yes, I've heard good things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. If you're going to do a soak, there's a couple. I use one that's got Epsom salts in it as well, and so I just love the Epsom salts in a foot bath. Like, I am so relaxed and so chill. It's such a great way to get extra magnesium in, especially if you got tummy problems. Just soak it in through your skin. It won't cause any diarrhea or anything because it goes right into your bloodstream, so it bypasses the gut. So you'll get extra magnesium without having any laxative effect either.
You could probably throw in some essential oils too. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, hey, this essential oil or that one would be better for the nails. A lot of times people talk about like the tea tree, but I think if you did a foot soak, I don't know if you mentioned that fungal soak having essential oils in there, but I think that could be a good extra little boost.
I have a separate one. I have two that I use. I have the herbal nail fungal soap, which is really just good for killing nail fungus and helping with fungus like athlete's foot, or because a lot of times you can see fungus on the feet with a lot of excessive dead skin. There's like a lot of excessive dry skin or cracked skin around the foot or the heel. A lot of times that can be fungus too. So I'll put some links below for like my favorite fungal foot soaks, because I have one that does the Epsom salts and some essential oils like lavender and peppermint, and it's very, very good, very relaxing. I'm going to do it right after this podcast.
Cool.
Excellent. Anything else you wanted to highlight today, Evan?
I would just say dig deeper. If you have nail issues, hair issues, skin issues, there's probably something else going on. So yeah, maybe you do a foot soak. Cool. But what else is going on? There's probably not a situation where a nail issue is going to happen in isolation. There's probably some other symptom, maybe anxiety, depression, sleep issues, gut issues, bloating, gas, constipation, burping. There's probably something else happening. So, we like to zoom in on these issues because, one, you all gave great feedback on the hair loss, but number two, because this is what people look for. It's the vanity that gets people interested in their health in some cases. Like, somebody doesn't just wake up and say, I want to look at my gut for infections. That's what you and I do because we love and breathe this stuff. But your average person's going to wake up and look and say, oh, my nails, look how hideous my nails are. Oh, my hair, look how ugly. And then they get motivated to dig deeper. But I would encourage you just to dig deeper on your own. Just think about what else could be going on. Don't wait until you have a bunch of other symptoms. If it's just the nails, maybe run an organic acids test and see if you've got a big candida problem. Run a stool test and see if you've got a big fungal problem there. These are really low-hanging fruit items that we can look for that encourage us to do a test, find an answer, and then you can make a protocol to address it from the inside out as well as the outside.
100%. Someone wrote in, what happens if one nail is yellow? It's what we've just been talking about. It's a fungus nail. Same thing. You can have one. You don't have to have all of them. It's not an all or nothing thing. That's what the whole podcast is about. So just go back and re-listen to everything. Sean wrote in, on vacation in Greece, noticed my hair and skin were significantly healthier than when I was at home, along with better sleep. Any reason? So first thing is, she said I was eating a lot more gluten. So there's less gluten content in the foods in Europe, less pesticides and such. But could be a combination of stress being lower. I mean, if you're sleeping better, it has to be less stress. Could be better sleep. I'm not sure what your diet's like when you're at home already. So you have to look at the variables of stress, sleep, also sunlight. Maybe you're getting more sunlight exposure. All of those factors could have a huge role in what's happening.
It seems amazing to think you could see differences that quick, though. Like, oh, I went to Greece and my hair got better. It's like, whoa, I don't know about that.
Also, it's a vacation. Like, you're going to like paradise. You're going to the kind of a more paradise, relaxing space. So there's the level of excitement and just being in an awesome place. You've probably been saving up for it for the year. So there's a lot of kind of emotional things that are part of that as well. It's not just a physiological thing too.
Maybe it was a bunch of olive oil. I just don't think you would see changes like let's say if it was like a month vacation, maybe, but if it's like a week and now you're just doing olive oil and bread on everything, maybe the olive oil helped you, but
maybe a lot more fats. It's all relative to what your diet was like and how stressed you were. But I don't think you see it that fast because it takes time for your skin cells and your hair cells to turn over. Unless you're on vacation for like a good month or two and you start to see it month 1 or month 2, I think it'd be hard unless you're just not getting any sunlight. Now you get a little bit of a tan and your skin feels, a little bit better because of the vitamin D. I think it takes longer.
I did have a friend who, I want to say he was maybe 50, 52, something like that. Last time we had hung out, we went hunting together and he had brown hair, good looking dark brown hair. And then this was in the fall. We were like doing a fall deer hunt. And then the next spring, we were going to go hunt turkey. And his hair was all gray. I'm talking just over the winter. His hair went 100% gray. And I thought, oh my God. And I said, what happened to your hair? And guess what happened over the winter? He got a divorce. And super bad divorce. Wife went crazy, etc. And so then I see him. I didn't see him through the summer. I catch up with him again for another fall hunt. So went from, the fall before, brown, the next spring, gray, to the next fall. Guess what? His hair was brown again, perfectly brown. I said, did you color your hair? He said, no, it just went back to brown. And I said, oh, is the divorce over? He goes, oh, yeah, everything's settled. And I thought, wow, look at the emotional connection to hair.
Yeah, the hair going gray, there's the catalase enzyme is a really important enzyme for the hair going gray. And that enzyme is associated with glutathione. So glutathione is really important for hair color. And I just think what happens is all the sulfur, I think all the cortisol is going to cause you to just burn through a lot more of that sulfur. And so you have less sulfur available for the hair. Because your body doesn't care much about the aesthetics. Like it's first on the priority list to go.
Yeah, survival or fight or flee.
It's the first thing that gets crossed off the list. So what I recommend is when that happens, your hair starts going up the glutathione, up the selenium, right? Make sure you're digesting and you're consuming lots of good high quality meats with sulfur. and good high quality, sulfur-rich vegetables.
Yeah, his hair's looking good now, so maybe just the stress alone, he self-regulated. But man, adaptogenic herbs.
And you can do some extra, so adaptogenic herbs, and you could do also extra green vegetables juice would be really helpful. That's great. Excellent. I'll have to do a podcast, or I'll have to do a video right after this on gray hair. I'll do a little summary video afterwards. If people coming in and they want a recap, I'll do my own little chalk talk video. Cool. All right. Anything else, Evan, you want to highlight here?
No, that's it for the nails. If people want to reach out clinically, Justin and I work with people around the world, so you can check out his website for scheduling consultations. That is at justinhealth.com, justinhealth.com. My website is evanbrand.com, and we both work with people around the world. We're super grateful for the opportunity to help you all, so thank you for letting us serve you. And if you have feedback, suggestions on podcasts, topics, symptoms, things we haven't covered, put it in the comments if you're on Justin's YouTube video, or if you find us on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, somewhere, look us up and let us know, hey, I want you to cover this or that, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and let us know your experience with your fingernail or hair issues. Love to hear it. Love to comment about it as well. And if you enjoy the podcast, smash that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And write us a review, justinhealth.com/iTunes, evanbrand.com/iTunes, and we really appreciate the reviews. And share this with your friends or family, anyone that you know that could help or benefit. Feel free to share it with them. And also, our link below will be there for consultation if you want to dive in deeper and look at some of the deeper root issues. evanbrand.com, justinhealth.com. We're here for y'all. Hope you have a phenomenal day. I will be back tomorrow with some more content. And you guys have a phenomenal day. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Got a question for Dr. J? Go to BeyondWellnessRadio.com and click the questions button. Then tune in to hear the answer. Also, if you like the show, click below to review us on iTunes. For more Beyond Wellness Radio, go to BeyondWellnessRadio.com.